Booyah! What's good, YouTube? I'm back again with the shenanigans, the market shenanigans. Week 22. It was a really nice week, and I have been looking forward to do this batch analysis because I'm really wondering whether I performed well. I did reflect on my sessions after pretty much every day, and I was quite happy with my performance. But of course, that is in the heat of the day itself, and I'm always looking forward to actually have a separate session after everything is over and I have a nice fresh mindset and I can see whether this actually was the correct thing to do or not. So I have 5 trades here. One of them I didn't take. I'll get to that. But I think pretty much all of them were on NAS 100. Not exactly sure. But yeah, that just goes to show that when a certain market goes into good context, I'm there for it, right? So let's get into it. Let's jump into my Notion here, week 22. And let's start with Monday, go over my worksheet, and let's see what was going on. So, come in Monday, no news, no nothing. I'm watching JPN. Let's see what's going on over here. Weekly, beautiful trend, right? Big move, big candles in my direction. Momentum cycle, EMA's rising, everything. It's real nice. Daily, went higher impulsively, reaccumulated back into some kind of demand zone, bounced from there and just showing big strength. I love this. This is perfect context to scalp this on the lower time frame. Nice. NAS 100, similar situation. We had the big weekly push, then we finally had some sideways here. I actually wasn't trading much during that sideways once this push invalidated. I saw this as quite overextended, but now we are breaking into new highs, so my expectation is that this could easily go above 30,000 or whatnot. Beautiful context. And here we have a crypto. What is this? This is Tron, okay? So Tron, big move, sideways, some kind of stage 1 breaking out, and now attacking this resistance for the first time. Daily, it's okay. Like here, it was really nice over here as it reaccumulated. You know what? It's okay. It's fine. I actually tried to trade Tron, but the thing with Tron is that you really have to trade it on a higher time frame. I tried to trade it with even like a 10-minute entry, but it was just insane. It required so much leverage that it was just not worth it because, well, it would slip me insanely much. I think this would only be tradable on, let's say, like a 1-hour E setup. And unfortunately, I didn't get that. But yeah, generally, this is looking pretty good. So let's see what's going on here. This is my watch list. And this is my watch list screenshot. So here, okay, so this is US 100, 10 minute. I wanted to see this reaccumulate, right? This is a little bit too far by now. Yeah, this push needs to reaccumulate. JPN, nice push going sideways. If it broke above, I would be looking for a trade. And here is Tron. Yep, I was looking for this 10-minute trade. I remember that, but I simply couldn't take it because, well, previously mentioned reasons. And here is Hype. Hype also looking decent. Good push, going sideways. If there was some kind of reignition here, I would probably be looking for a trade too. So, NAS and JPN look good. Some cryptos look okay too. Tron, Hype, and ZAC. And I take no trades at all. So why is there this? I guess this just means that I was looking for trades, but I ended up not taking any. All right, makes sense. Tuesday, no news. Was looking at JPN. JPN broke out even higher. So this is the day before. That ended up in a big breakout candle with imbalance and everything. Beautiful. If there was a setup on the lowers, I would definitely take it. NAS 100, similar situation. Nice breakout out of this little reaccumulation. Looking for continuation. Some kind of crypto here. A Hype. Okay. Yep. Hype looks really good. This is MMB1, MMB2. Continuation could happen even towards, like, let's say the 77 or something. I could see that happen. And this is ZAC. ZAC. Well, just looking at this right now, this probably needs to put in a breakout candle for me to follow it. Like, at this point, I don't know. It's just looking a little bit too sideways. Anyway, this is the watch the screenshot. So what do we have here? US 100 breaking above the flippy over here. That's very nice. I would be looking for a trade here, I think. JPN sideways, completely sideways, needs to break out into a new range. Tron, I was looking for some trades, if I remember correctly, somewhere over here. That ended up not really working. And I think after all of these shenanigans, even though there is like a big breakout and whatnot, I actually decided not to watch it anymore, because pretty much every breakout was met with deep pullbacks. So every impulse got mitigated, and I'm just like, you know what, that's not a market that I want to trade. And hype broke out above the flippy as well. You can see that I did set up some kind of trade and I was looking for it, but I don't think this was a good trade, and I didn't take it. So I was just playing around with something. I was probably waiting for like a bigger reaccumulation or something. But yeah, anyway, I do have a trade. I do have a trade here. Okay, so NAS 100, trade number 1 over here. Let's go to Miro, and this is what it is. So we already know, based on the weekly daily, that this is in a good context, right? So here we are on the 1000, so reaccumulated, and now is breaking higher. This is most definitely an area to look for a trade. 100, some kind of stage 1 happening over here, right? And then eventually breaks out on good momentum and reaccumulates. Puts in a nice flippy. So if it breaks above the flippy, I am most definitely happy to look for a trade. Here we are on the 10-minute. This is some kind of stage 1, chopping around. Here it comes down one more time for some liquidity, and boom, big momentum, goes higher. Here we are on the 1-minute. Big momentous move, pulls back around like the EMAs and whatnot. This is still, so it's a little bit below the EMAs, but I'm okay with that because it's just a quick dip below, and it wants to continue. Most importantly, this is a shallow pullback, right? If I look at this impulse from here to here, this is less than 50%. This is most definitely a shallow pullback. So if I get an entry within there, I will take it. So here we are on the 10-second, and I can see the structure of the entire impulse and the reaccumulation. Beautiful stage 2 over here, definitely qualifies me to look for a trade, and here it breaks down. It creates a flippy over here, it breaks above the flippy, and here goes sideways a little bit. EMAs are still rising, everything is looking good. Floating supply was not even taken, so setting up a buy stop over here makes all the sense in the world, and I absolutely love this trade. I think it's real nice. So let's take a look at it. Here we are. I reduce risk after this candle over here. Here it was just chopping a little bit, and I just gave it space. But after this candle, I felt comfortable to reduce risk the first time. Still had 0.1 R risk running, and here, after it would break this high, that's where I would reduce risk completely, but it doesn't happen. It comes back and it taps me out for a minus 0.1 R. I think this was a beautiful trade. Absolutely love it. Yep, perfect. So the lineup, right, all the way from the weekly to the daily, and then from the 1110 one, like I got wind on behind my back, you know, I got everything on my side, all the momentum on my side, waited for this very patiently, and then as it started breaking out and showing momentum, that's when I got involved. I stick to my E rules as well. Yeah, this was just real nice. Love it. Okay, so boop, boop, boop. Perfect. With an exclamation point? I don't know. Maybe not. All right, so yep, good decision here and no reflection. Okay, so that was Tuesday. Let's go to Wednesday. Once again, let's go through the contexts. NAS 100 continuing higher, definitely market to watch. JPN 225 here, okay, so it's reaccumulating a little bit. We're probably going to see that on the lower time frame, and I would need to wait for it to rebuild itself a little bit, but on the higher is definitely something to watch. Crypto, we got hype, pretty much the same situation as it was in the beginning of the week, but yeah, good to look for a trade here. And here is Loons. That's Luna Terra Classic, I believe. And I'm just kind of looking if there was some momentum coming into it, because on the weekly, this is a good move to follow. On the daily, we can see the reaccumulation. It's not ready quite yet. Needs to break out from the flippy. This lower part of the reaccumulation is kind of reserved for stage 1. But if it showed some momentum here, I would definitely look to follow the reaccumulation of that impulse. So yeah, not bad. some kind of news, but they happened in the morning, so who cares? This is my watch list screenshot. So US 100 had some kind of breakout, went sideways, and now it's breaking higher. And this looks good already on this time frame. And I guess I could fractally take this. Japan 225, yeah, this looks bad. I want to see this reaccumulate. Hyperliquid, kind of sideways here. I would like to see it break out into new highs. And Terra Classic, this reaccumulation is just ugly. Maybe if it broke out higher here and pulled the reaccumulation just below floating supply, maybe I would take that. Anyway, NAS 100 looks okay, and I have 3 trades here. Wow. Okay, 3 trades. Let's go to trade number 1, and let's start from the 1000 here. So this is looking good, right? This impulse over here, this is definitely something to follow. If it's momentous and clean on the lower time frames, I can look for trades here. 100 minute. Okay, so we have some kind of stage 1. This would be like some kind of MMB1, MMB2, and here it's breaking higher. Yep, this looks good. Here we are on the 10 minute, right? So good stage 2, reaccumulate. Decent stage 2, reaccumulate. Kind of deeper, a little bit deeper, but here it takes the liquidity, creates a stage 1 over here, and breaks higher. This looks good in terms of like weak to strong, right? Some kind of reaccumulation, stage 1 happening and whatnot, some kind of chop. And from there, we do get the breakout, we do get the EMAs rising up again, and we get the reignition, so to say. This is the flippy. This breaks above the flippy. If this was to be a redistribution, say this is a distribution, right? And this over here would be the redistribution push. If that was it, it grabbed all the liquidity above all of these resistance points, and it could have fucked off lower, right? It already did what it was supposed to. Yes, it could come here a second time, but that's way less likely. Actually, if it did that, I would much rather assume that this is all a reaccumulation and it wants to continue higher. So yeah, this as an entry looks pretty good. And here we are on 1 minute. So 1 minute, big push, right? And here it starts reaccumulating, takes some lows and explodes higher again. I think this is actually a 10-minute trade, isn't it? A 10-minute E. Let me see what I write here. Yep, it's a 10-minute E. Beautiful. Okay. So I take that, and on this candle over here, as it liquidates floating supply, I go risk-free because I want nothing to do with it. If it comes back, that's okay. That's a break even. And what happens? Beautiful. It breaks out, reaccumulates over here, and it continues higher. And I think I actually scalp it on the lower time frames here as well. But this is the 10-minute entry, and that ends up being a beautiful winner. I love this trade. Beautiful trade. Perfect. Okay. Nice. So far, so good. I can take these trades, put perfect next to them. That's exactly what I want to do. And this was supposed to be hidden, by the way, just so I don't know what's going on. But to be honest, it doesn't matter. So trade number 2 on this day is this one. So let's take a look. So here on the 10-minute, right? Yes, this was the trade that I took. And here it broke out into a new range, pulled back into the rising 1020. Perfect situation to look for a trade. And yeah, if this rebuilds itself on the 1 minute or something, I will definitely take it. So let's take a look at the microstructure of this push. Beautiful stage 2, enormous, like somebody pressed the fucking buy button here, right? Looks good. And here it starts reaccumulating, creates a diagonal, creates a nice flippy, and here it breaks out. And I was already looking for some trade here, I'm pretty sure. But that pulls back one more time. This is still kind of okay. Like, it's a little bit of a deeper pullback. Maybe there was like a chance to take this, you know, as a breakout. Like, I can see here on the 10-minute that this looks kind of okay. But that's not what I was looking for. Instead, I was looking for the 1 minute E here, I suppose. And I saw this big impulse that went sideways. And as it went sideways, I set up the buy stop over here, still under floating supply and everything. Rising EMAs. This looks very good. I think this is very nice. Provides an entry opportunity below the floating supply. And here I am on the 10-second. Just to see that it went sideways for some kind of time for me to be able to set this up. All I want to make sure is that there is actually a sideways period to this push so that I don't get involved in just an overextended push higher. So like right here, I didn't take the setup, right? Because this is already like a bit overextended, I would say. I would much rather see it go sideways and then set up the buy stop, which is exactly what I do. So I think this trade was very, very nice, and it ends up being a break even. Let's say what I write here. So I reduce risk on this candle over here on the big candle. Makes a lot of sense. That's a reduction of the towards the intended entry. So I still have some risk going. 0.15 risk running, yep, and that actually keeps me in. If I reduced risk completely, I would get tapped out, but that keeps me in, and as it liquidates the high, that's when I reduce risk completely. And this unfortunately comes back to break even. And if I remember correctly, this taps me out by this tiny, tiny margin or whatnot. Actually, let me click in here. I'm interested to see if if I didn't reduce risk that way, whether I would be still part of that move. Let me go over here real quick, go to NAS, make this bigger and find this trade and see if I could have stayed in that. So, boop, 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 boop. Okay. So it's this trade. You see that just taps me out and it pretty much instantly delivers. I don't know why it's at 9.2093. Oh yeah, because that's the max RR, and 5 is over here, which would have delivered. And all I'm wondering is if I actually didn't reduce risk that way and I put it here. Senor, hello. Go here, that would still tap me out, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, just unfortunate, you know, it came a little bit deeper than I would have wanted it to, and it taps me out and then delivers. This is going to happen many, many more times in my career, and you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Shit happens. Sad coconuts, this came back and tapped me out on the spread risk reduction and then hit TP. Yeah, well, it would have tapped me out even if I didn't include the spread, so it is what it is. Overall, I think this was a beautiful trade, so I'm gonna give it a good, and I'm gonna give it a perfect here. Nice. All right. And last trade of that day is this one, and that's actually one that I didn't take, and that's a little bit unfortunate because I remember this. I misjudged the overextension aspect of this trade, I believe, but let's just go ahead and take a look. So first trade of the day was the 10-minute E over here, right? Then it went higher and it printed a beautiful MB over here, which I could have traded, and I did. And then it went into another one and created another beautiful MB over here, which could have been traded. And I think I should have traded this. So I have no idea why I didn't. I looked overextended, but honestly, looking at the 10-minute, this is not overextended. So what do I write here? I didn't take this because I thought it looked overextended, but it's MMB3, yeah, MMB1, MMB2, MMB3, completely valid for me to trade, right? Which is tradable. And the TP was around the same area of my first 10-minute E-trade, so this was actually valid and I should have taken it. Yes, that's true. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. I don't know, some kind of misjudgment. You can see over here that this is the TP of the 10-minute trade, and this trade has a TP just a tiny, tiny little bit higher. So in regards to overextension, this is totally, totally valid, and I should have taken it. Oh well, a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. So let's evaluate the trade. All of this is the same, right? I just talked about this momentum push over here, this momentum cycle, that it's still completely valid. Here I am on the 1 minute. So the 1 minute had a beautiful push higher and reaccumulated, right? Print a diagonal over here, print a flippy, starts going sideways along the bottom of the reaccumulation, and then it breaks out of this. With this candle, that was pretty much my trigger to start watching. Imbalance, everything, EMA start rising. I would call this reignition. And here we are on the 10-second, and I pretty much just take the trade as presented. I take this as an MB, and yeah, this was completely, completely valid. Yeah, could have taken that. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I think this trade was really nice. So I would get tapped in. immediately risk-free. Not only is this a huge candle, but it also liquidates the floating supply. This would be completely risk-free right away. And this doesn't take too long, and it goes to a +5. Nice. So, mistake didn't take. I definitely should have taken this. Definitely should have taken this. Whoop. It is what it is. It was pretty much perfect. So, didn't take. Yeah. Okay. Anything else I should write here? I'm not sure. No, I think that's it. So here's the reflection, quite a long reflection, because this was a wild, or how do I call this? Well, quite an active session. So I missed one trade that would have been a winner, and I got licked by a few ticks on another trade that would have been a winner. Potential +15 day today. Oh well. Well, no, the second trade could not have been a win, so potential +10 day. But yeah, still, oh well. Still executed quite well. I cannot affect the outcome of the trades. Yes, I point this out mainly because of that break even that tapped me out by a few ticks. It is what it is. This is not something I can affect, and it should not bother me. Here is the market I traded. Absolutely beautiful momentum cycle. Each MB got an entry in it. I took 2. I should have taken 3. But yes, this could be printed out, man. This is beautiful. This is so nice. Like, this momentum cycle is perfect, and this is exactly the type of price action that we look to follow, especially given the fact that it's embedded in a higher time frame that is bullish across the board, from the weekly, daily, 1,100 all the way down to the 10. Everything looks like it wants to go higher, and then we get these kind of markets. And if we scalp them on the lower time frame, that's where the money is, right? And alrighty, calling it a day at 16:00. Insane how we got momentum opportunities and then market dumps hard as fuck. Yeah. So this is just pure momentum trading at its finest, right? When there is momentum in the market, we participate, we get chances to get our entries, we get chances to get our TPs, and then even though we consider or expect continuation, we can be completely wrong about that, and the market can dump hard as fuck, invalidating all of our ideas. But guess what? It doesn't matter, because while these ideas were active and relevant, that's when we took our trades and managed to get our profits. Whatever happens after, we don't care, right? So this was just so beautiful. Good day. All right, so that was Wednesday, and let's go into Thursday. I didn't fill anything out here, but I do have a trade here. So that's this trade over here. Let me just see what I write here. Setup happening just as I'm about to go to Muay Thai. Already smoked some weed. Hope this is not a mistake. Only thing I might not like is the 100 due to how it was created. Big sell candle. But I'd argue it had time to react and make a run for new highs. All right, well, let's take a look. So 1,000, here we are, active momentum cycle, right? EMA's rising, everything looking pretty chill. I like it. So here we are on the 100. This is something that I potentially might have had a problem with. So we have a nice stage 2 here. By the way, this is the momentum cycle that I traded this week, and then it dumps down, right? Look, if it dumped down over here and then went higher, there's a chance I might not look for a trade, right? Like, whenever this stuff happens, I don't want to get involved in the immediate like pushes higher, because I'm kind of creeped out by this. But if this has time to go sideways and then break out and do some weak to strong, some kind of Wyckoff schematic, I'm completely fine with it, right? So here we dumped lower again, and we tested stuff out a little bit. We created a nice resistance. Like, this thing on the lower was a beautiful accumulation schematic, which is exactly what I want to see. We do have this flippy over here, and we do have nice breakout, like a powerful breakout out of here with imbalance and everything. This is actually looking pretty damn good, and I don't think there's a problem looking for a trade here. If it's not overextended, of course, if this push is not overextended, but then we can wait for the react, right? And we can look to get involved somewhere over here. But I actually don't mind this 100 too much. Like, the bullish structure of the trend is still there, right? We probably tested some kind of demand zone over here, and it's looking relatively good. Took a lot of stops over here, so definitely had time to reaccumulate, and now it's breaking out higher. I think this looks okay. So here we are on the 10-minute. All of this is kind of capped below. Some kind of stage 1 in here, right? And here we have MMB1 and now kind of forming MMB2 or whatnot, or maybe this is just part of the push higher before it reaccumulates into MMB2. So it looks kind of okay. Here we are on the 1-minute. Some kind of sideways, and boom, big breakout, pulls back into the rising 1020, and here it creates this setup. It is a little bit compressed. It's a little bit meh. I don't know. Like, the good thing is that this is indeed a nice reignition bar. Creates some kind of imbalance and whatnot. It does get mitigated, not completely though. And let me see on the 10 seconds. So yeah, definitely nice push. Here it starts going sideways, right? Some kind of reaccumulation happening, definitely. And then we have the reignition. It breaks out and it coils. It coils, it coils, it coils. It creates this little flaggy over here and it breaks out. And this high is below the floating supply. I actually think this is pretty alright. Like, I wouldn't call it perfect. The one thing I don't like too much is how it gets a little bit compressed and how it takes a little bit of time. But overall, I think it's pretty okay. I shouldn't be too anal about the E when all the hires are pointing towards bullish. I'm kind of just looking for a valid excuse to get involved on the trade, right? So I'm gonna give this a good. I think this is a good trade, not necessarily a perfect trade, but I think it's fine. So what happens? So it breaks out a little bit, not enough for me to reduce risk yet. It dumps back down and I was like, ah man, I'm sure that I took a bad trade. This sucks. And I get a little bit emotional. Bro, I'm feeling things. This is not good. Okay, but then it breaks out higher over here. And on this candle, I reduce risk the first time. And I still have a little bit risk running. But then it goes higher, 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 right? And at this point, it has no business coming back, in my opinion. So I reduce risk completely. And this comes back to break even. And I believe this trade also, it just taps me out and it goes to target. Funny thing, it tapped me out and it went to TP. Let's go to here on NAS 100 and see the trade. If I can find it, of course. Wait, it's this trade. Okay, so all I'm wondering about is if I reduced risk, I mean, if I didn't reduce risk, right? If I put my risk right here, it would still tap me out. So that's just unfortunate. But yeah, that happens twice this week. That's blech, that sucks a bit. So it happened on Thursday and now it happens here as well, where I just get tapped out and then it delivers. Ugh, that sucks, man. That sucks. Twice in a week. That's rough. Oh man, if that didn't happen and I took that trade as well, like, I know it didn't happen that way, but potential plus 20 on the board. But hey, it's fine. As I said, I cannot affect the outcomes of the trade. All I can affect is the quality of the trades that I take. And I think these trades were fairly good. I'm kind of happy with these. So I'm not going to call it perfect. I'm going to call it good. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this trade. Any reflection? No, not really. I remember I just took the trade and the moment I got it to be risk-free, I had to go. So I only checked on the result quite a bit later. So yeah, that's it. So that was Thursday, and Friday I don't think I did fill something out, but I didn't actually trade. So I was looking at NAS 100 one more time, right? Nothing changed. This is looking good. And this is the only trade I was looking at. And on the 10-minute, this went sideways and it broke out higher. And I was looking for a trade here, which is the perfect. Yeah, this is perfect. Looking for a trade here makes all the sense in the world. Okay, check New York Open and NAS 100 looks good, but I guess nothing really set up. So yeah, that's it for the week. Let's go for analysis over here, trades taken. So overall, I'm up 4.1, which is really nice. Had I traded perfectly, Had I traded perfectly, I would be taking that additional win that I was supposed to. Yes, and 4.1 plus 4.8 is indeed 8.9. So yeah, the calculations are right. So yeah, I would have taken that additional trade. Any mistakes? Yeah, the only mistake here was that I didn't take the valid trade. There was supposed to be, yeah, there is supposed to be a tag here. Do I have a tag for, missed valid trade? That's it. Okay. So let's fill that in. Mistakes made, missed valid trade. So that's one mistake for the week. But overall, I think I am pretty happy with how I traded. So take a look over here. Yeah, let's, oh, I did write a little bit of stuff over here as well. Okay. So let's evaluate the entire session. I mean, the entire week a little bit. Look, the only thing that I have to talk about here a little bit is the enormous patience it took to get here, right? I didn't take any trades that were not ready, and then when things finally got ready, according to my rules, I was here for it. I was here for it, and I was pretty much stalking the market almost every day, except for one day, I think. And that's exactly what I envision my style of trading to be like in this stage. Eventually, it might evolve and transform into a higher time frame system where I will maybe check the markets every hour or ideally just once a day or whatnot. But that's not that's irrelevant right now. That's not the stage that I'm in. Currently, I am in the stage of being a scalper during moments where everything is on my side. And based on that, I performed perfectly. I absolutely love it. So if I was to talk a little bit more conceptually or practically about what my system is like, it's about waiting for moments in the market where there are clear as trends on the higher time frame, right? Right now, NAS 100, even though it's being carried only by the tech sector and all the other sectors are lagging behind or even bearish right now, it doesn't matter. We have the NAS 100 going up, and it's going up in a very clean way, and I am here for it, and I'm scalping it. Yes, you might be taking the higher time frame trades, which is good, but whenever there is a higher time frame trade tapped in, that basically gives me the green flag to actually scalp it on the lower time frame and hopefully outperform it. And that's exactly what I'm doing. This is perfect. I'm so happy with the kind of patience and discipline that I have built to be able to really only trade during these moments, and all the other moments I just filter out without any like emotional issues or whatnot. I don't feel the need to be in the market anymore, and I love it. And when there is everything lined up, I look for trades and I take them. Yes, sometimes I still hesitate a little bit, but that's okay. Trading is a performance-based activity, and we just need to learn how to execute and be better and make decisions on the go with very little time available, and we just need to be confident and sure in our system. And that is something we will be building for years to come, right? Technically, I am still just a forward testing trader. I am an non-executing profitable trader, and I have some more experience to gain and some more skills to refine, and that's fine. It's pretty much like any other performance-based activity, like Muay Thai, like chess, and all the other things I'm doing. I'm not always performing perfectly, but if I manage to generally stick to my rules, then that's all I need to do. That's great, and I'm doing that. So I want to give myself, once again, I want to positively reinforce this. I want to give myself props and enormous respect for actually doing the right thing and being able to do what I have set out to do. And that is to wait. And when the time is right, all the way from the higher time frames to the lower ones, that's when I get involved. And this is where my EV truly manifests. This is where I will be able to see the actual win rates of my system rather than the win rate of when I take trades that I'm not supposed to, because those trades most of the time end up being losses, and they take a huge toll on my overall EV. So I need to filter those out, and I only need to trade when the time is truly right. And right now for NAS 100, that is exactly what it was. And you can see that if I had taken all the trades that I was supposed to, I would be taking 5 trades this week. And that's just one market. And that's beautiful. One day in the future, I'm sure I'm going to have a week where more assets are going to be trending all the way from the higher time frames, whether it be long or short. And maybe there's going to be like 3 or 4 assets, and I'm going to be taking trades. And I might have a week where, even though I'm very disciplined and I have a very refined system, I might get 20 trades. It's very possible, and I envision such a future to happen almost certainly. But right now is not the time. Right now is the time to watch NAS 100, some JPN perhaps, maybe a few cryptos, and if I was trading them, definitely tech stocks. Tech stocks are the shit right now. Micron, SanDisk, I don't know, whatever you come up with. Those are definitely tradable, and I want to spend some time testing those and potentially take those as well. But those are not the ones that I was looking at. I was looking at this stuff for the low time frame, and I did right. I did well. So yeah, enough of the self-praise. I could self-praise myself for hours to come, but let's not do that. I'm just very happy. I'm happy with this week, and if I can continue trading this way, I'm pretty certain I will reach success. So yeah, that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.